Yo, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? My name is Khalif Wins, host of the Making Better Track show. And today's topic is why you need to be cautious while using MPC Stems. But before I move further, everybody give a big round of applause for the homie coming through again after doing a great interview, Beats by Lonze.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's going on, fam? What's going on, fam? What's going on? How's your week? How's your day? How's things going? How does everything going? And how's it feel?
My week is good, man. I'm excited, man. I got a birthday coming tomorrow, so yes, I'm gonna see my boys and the rest of my kids, and we're gonna get together and celebrate.
Well, listen, before any birthday, I always give this suggestion. Everybody drink a lot of water heavy before the liquor hits. Prepare your body before.
Good advice. Good advice.
Prepare your body before. But let's get to the topic at hand.
Yes, sir.
For sure. Let's talk about MPC Stems and why you need to be cautious while using MPC Stems and the irony of the timing from the music industry to the release of Stems. That's all I'm going to say. Let's go. Now, for those who don't know, MPC Stems came out this week. $9.99, quick $10, easy thing. Now, other programs such as Serato Sample, FL Studio, RipX DAW, they had the stem separation. Now it's in controller mode directly for the MPC. So, for all those who know, it's basically a great way to separate your tracks and utilizing the sample flip and things of that nature. Here's the comments that I've been seeing online in the group. Somebody said, everybody big for Stems from Akai, dropped it, and now y'all complaining. That's a fact. That's a hilarious fact. Somebody says, Stems cost $10. A Big Mac meal, a Whopper meal, a 2 Taco Supreme, a Mexican pizza meal cost the same, and even more at the airport and in New York. Stop complaining about $10, please. I agree. Somebody says, where did people complain about gear and stuff before the internet, asking for a friend? That's funny as hell, and that's true. Somebody says, how did you afford an MPC and you can't afford $10? That's hilarious, yet factual. You understand what I'm saying? That is hilarious.
Yes, sir.
But this is why, most importantly, everybody should watch how you use your stem, because this came out in Billboard magazine. Wow, ironically, this week. TikTok rapper must pay Sony Music more than $800,000 over unlicensed sample judge rules. The judge says the huge fine will serve as a, quote, lesson for Trey Fuego, a 20-year-old rapper who created a viral hit called 90MH.
I'm gonna have to listen to that. I'm not familiar with that song, but yeah, that 800K. Did he even make 800K on the freaking sample?
We're going to get the specifics because Khalif does the research. Sony sued Trey Fuego in 2021 of using a blatant sample from a 1986 Japanese instrumental song in his 90MH, a track that Sony claimed had been featured on 155,000 TikTok videos and streamed 100 million times on Spotify. The judge ordered Trey Fuego to pay ongoing royalties, including a 50% cut of publishing revenue and a 20% cut of recording revenue, and to repay the $2,230 in legal costs incurred by Sony. A rapper popular on TikTok must pay Sony Music more than $800,000 in damages. Wow. For using a copyrighted sample without permission. A federal judge ruled Wednesday, March 27th, saying that the big fine would teach him a 6-figure lesson about, quote, carefully selecting the materials included in his raps. Before we move further, mind you, hold on. Stems was released this week, and this article was also released in Billboard. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Do you see the irony? Tell me how you feel.
Yes, I knew that coming in. I was very scared that the reason that they were taking so long for the stems to come out was that the recording industry was probably putting their foot on their back about, okay, now you're giving people the option to steal music. But here's what I feel about that, right? You have the opportunity now to get on top of your business and to make sure that you are clearing your samples before you push those songs out that you create with those stems. So this is going to be an open roll call for these producers now to get on their business.
And that's why I also provided a solution for producers who may be worried about this. Let's go and let's talk about it. Now, here's a STEM solution, tracklib.com. Never
Yes,
heard of
sir.
it? You can sample real original music, and they have 100,000 hours of songs and multi-tracks from all genres, and you can actually start a free trial. Here's the plans and pricing. For the light plan, I believe that is $6.99 per month. The premium plan, $14.99 per month. The max plan, $20 per month. You can use unlimited sample clearance, included clear and release as many songs as you want. That's lit. There's different tiers. You can have a revenue share. TrackLib is a royalty fair, not royalty free, meaning you share your new song's potential success with the owners of the original song you sampled. How much you share depends on how many seconds of the original song you sample, which is great. You can start digging and searching. If you want to release your new song, you must clear the sample, but we make it easy. Unlimited sample clearance is now included in our premium and max plans. Mind you, I don't work for them. I'm just reading the article. You can upload your music to your profile. Upload songs with unlicensed sample to your profile to show off your skills and productions. Using this feature to pitch music to artists and labels or just to collect your work in progress. Now, this is a great opportunity. Like, again, like you said, to get your business in order, tracklib.com is a great resource. And also, for those who don't know, every producer, what do we have? Most of us, we have friends who are musicians, or we have friends that are artists. We can work out a co-partnership example deal with the artists in our circle and work horizontally instead of working upwards to people we don't know. Let's work with people that we do know. So producers, if you know artists and you're like, hey, I love this track you got, can I sample it? Is it original? Or let me get deep, and I'm gonna bring off the real jewel. For those who go to church, who have a religious faith base they go to, either Saturday at the synagogue or Sunday at the church or at the mosque, so on and so forth, and you're cool with the musicians there who created original compositions, work out a deal where you sample their original compositions and then flip the samples and you all can get money. And that's what I don't understand. Producers stop thinking so self and start thinking more collaborative. You can't look at anybody and not understand that they grew through collaboration. Miles Davis, Quincy Jones, so on and so forth. Everybody who made funk music, Parliament Funkadelic, so on and so forth. But I'm gonna let you chime in based on what you're seeing with the track lib and the things going on, because I really want you to expound on the business side of things.
Yeah, man. I think that a lot of producers, especially on the MPC side, is more focused on getting getting tracks done and not really thinking about, have I copyrighted my music? Have I went through the proper channels to make sure that I've done the right thing? It's just catch me if you can, which was the old way of doing business back in the day. Hey, catch me if you can. If you can figure out what this sample is, then you got to catch me. But nowadays, now they have AI tools that can tell what song it is that you use. They can, there are what I call sample snitchers.
Oh yeah, there's samples. There's actually people that get paid in departments that get paid, for those who don't know, to literally identify songs that have been taken without permission. They snitch and they get a cut off of what they snitched on. Think about that. There is an entire industry set aside of people who get paid percentages by snitching on who sampled songs and didn't take copyrights. I mean, didn't do the proper paperwork. That's crazy, right?
Correct.
And that's where we get to the season right now. Anybody who produces, myself, you, anybody, we have to be more professional in the sense. Yes, you like to flip samples. That whole ethos, remember the ethos like forever? Man, if you're a smaller artist, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Right now it does. Those days are over with. If you're a smaller producer, nobody's going to really know. You can sample. Cool. If you want to play with fire, but did you see what that artist got fined?
$800K.
800K. And anybody watching this, if y'all just be having loose $800,000 in your account, God bless you. I'm not that person. I got 2 kids. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not that person. And mind you, imagine getting got for 800,000. Let's think about that.
And they're complaining about $9.99 for buying the stems, and you talking about $800K.
Listen, let's table this right here. This conversation is for career-minded producers, not hobbyists. That's number one. Secondly, you know me, I don't do toxic online because I think it's useless, because I think people say stuff online they would never say in anybody's face. Can I get an amen to that?
Amen.
They would never say in anybody's face. But this conversation is for people who actually want to build a catalog, build a fan base, who are producers, who just really want to share information. And please put it in the comments if you have any commentary towards it, progressive comments, because listen, I do dirty to trolls. Anybody trolls in my comments, I'm gonna do you dirty. I'm just gonna be totally honest. I'm gonna make you a movie. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. This is about progressive-based conversation on moving on solutions. But
Yes, sir.
let's get to the article real quick because I want to go to the exact article on Billboard. Can you see it on the screen? Great. And look at this part. Mind you, this is Billboard. This is posted by Bill Donahue this week, March 3rd, 27th. Right here. Let me go here. Listen to the wild part. After struggling to locate him, a federal judge ruled last year that the 20-year-old rapper in fact infringed on copyrights. And in a follow-up ruling this week, the same judge ordered him to hand over the $800,000 plus more, covering roughly $700,000 he earned in profits from Spotify and other platforms, and approximately $100,000 he would pay Sony in license fees. So this is close to $1 million. Let me go to this one part that freaked me out. One part. Let me go. Here we go. You see this? In one particular notable effort, Sony representatives apparently went to his mother's house on Mother's Day. Wow. In hopes that he would be there to celebrate with her, but still came up empty. Quote, sadly, he was not there, and his own mother claimed she did not know who he was, the judge wrote. Yeah, because mommy ain't going to snitch. Preach. Mommy ain't going to snitch. But think about that for a hot second. So, and I'm going to pull this off real quick. Sony representatives sent their reps to his mother's house. Do y'all really want to play these sample games? Do y'all really want to play these sample games? If you're an MPC producer utilizing the stems, great, utilize them. If you're a hobbyist, have fun. But if you're trying to make any form of commerce, protect yourself. They sent representatives to his mother's house. And he, like, I thought it was just 800,000. No, it's like close to $1 million. What are you thinking about that? Could you imagine? You produce a track, you flip some stems, it's a banger, and it's heating up. And you did, as a matter of fact, let's say you did paperwork, but something got caught with the paperwork, and they sent it to your relative's house to basically try to serve you. What comes to your mind? I'm a New Yorker. Somebody comes to my house, and it's on that type of energy. I'm not going to say what happened online, but we know what would happen. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'd be shitting bricks. Excuse my lingo, but yeah, that would be very, very scary. And then now your parents are complicit in, a case that they can come back and charge them with perjury if they found out that the mom was lying. So that is horrible. Yeah, I don't think people are doing involved in anything that could typically be illegal.
Oh, but look how we got caught according to the article. You see this right here? In its complaint, the label pointed out, let me highlight this. The label pointed out that Hinata's song had seen a recent surge of popularity after an appearance in Netflix 2020's film Tiger Tail and placement on a popular ambient music playlist on Spotify. Quote, the artist Trey Fuego, they said, brazenly sought to ride the coattails of Hinata's creativity and popularity without regard to the United States copyright laws or the rights of the plaintiffs. The label's attorney wrote at the time, quote, he used and copied plaintiff work without so much as asking or paying a cent to plaintiffs, and he continued to exploit the music despite plaintiffs demanded that he stop. Now, let's pause here. We're all producers. We can't hate on that artist, the Japanese artist, who created the song in 1986, who's probably an older gentleman, has a family, has kids. As producers, you can't hate, because if somebody sampled your beat and is getting bread off of it, you do the same thing too. Let's be honest. So from the artist side, there's fair business. I would have did the same thing if I was an artist. And if he came out with a track at 86 and was over the age of 25 in 1986, he's like a senior citizen. He deserves his bread. So I'm glad he got his money on the flip side. But the MPC producers have to go into two different brackets right now. I'm serious about my business, folk, and I really want to do right and have good business relationships, have a great rapport, get invited to events, really build a thriving business. Or you can be the nobody's going to catch me crowd and catch that ridiculous charge. And we're in a current environment right now where producers really can rack up if they focus on their fan base. And again, I say this all the time, like I did a big halt from making tracks and stuff like that because I like making content, but when I restart, you have to have a business structure mindset. We're in a sync placements world. We're in a great licensing climate environment. We're in a great community building environment where producers can build their own community. You can create content with your production. There's so many things producers can do now if they don't want to deal with the music industry and an artist per beat basis. So with that said, a good reputation will last you further than anything. And even if, let's say Trey Fuego, he messed up, he had to pay this money, we get it. He can rebuild his career and just work with artists moving forward, work with producers moving forward. But for MPC producers, which tribe will you side? That nobody's going to catch me, and you will catch the financial L because, as you know what I'm saying, Lonze just said, they have AI devices and things like that to find you, or big about business.
Got to be business minded. Got to stay on top of your business, man. I have been preaching that for the last 15 years. You got to stay on top of your paperwork because you know what? When I first started out, right? Just to give a little backstory, when I first started out, I was working with another producer that he was engineering and producing, right? And I was learning the business through how he was moving, and everything that we did was like through word of mouth, like, hey, you know, we're going to do such and such and such. I got you. And I trusted a lot of things because based off of our friendship and word of mouth or whatever. But then I started figuring out that a lot of times you do have to do paperwork because paperwork will follow you on your journey and word of mouth don't follow you on the journey. And so if your friends make it big and you're not included on any paperwork, then you're left out on the sheer fact that maybe they might take you along. So if you don't do the right things and start copywriting your music and you don't, have split sheets and you don't get included in the business side of it, you will get left behind. So
split sheets, ladies and gentlemen, split sheets, ladies and gentlemen, split sheets, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the thing. Back for Infinity, we're talking about hip hop producers right now, the genre. Since the beginning of hip hop production time, it's usually been like, yo, I love making beats. Let me find an artist to make a beat. We're in a current climate right now where you can function. How did Alchemist put it? The Alchemist interview. Anybody gets an opportunity. There's a great YouTube channel called Idea Generator or Generation. And Alchemist did an interview with it. And Alchemist said, and I quote, I'm not going to completely quote, I'm paraphrasing. He said that he doesn't like the music industry model, business model. So he creates his production as a microbrewery where he releases what he wants, when he wants, on his platform, whether in vinyl and merch and so on and so forth. Right now, I'm saying all that to say, producers technically, if they really want to go like themselves, you don't have to work with artists. You can do sync licensing, you can do video game music, you can do anything you want. You can release beat tapes, you can release your own project, and you can go balls to the wall, pause, no Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Balls to the wall, what you want to do, and how you do it, and how you conduct business. And you can work with artists. So you don't have to deal with waiting. Like the producer wait game era is over. If you want to work with artists, cool, great. But we all know waiting on publishing, waiting on placements, that's a process, but it's worth it. If you want it, it's worth it. Nobody's crapping on that. But it's different paths. There used to be one path, now they're different paths. There's people right now who make music for video games. And how many video games are coming out? There's people right now that make music for streaming TV shows. How many streaming TV apps are there? There are people that make someone. I can go on and on and on. It doesn't have to be artist-centric, but if you are artist-centric, there are hip-hop artists, there are K-pop artists, there are J-pop artists in every genre, country, so on and so forth. You have to work within whatever the process in the field of what you want to work with to be lit and what you want to. But sidebar, consistent checks to sync licensing, TV, and money.
Yes, sir.
Everybody should check out Clint Music. Look up his information. Or anybody regarding Sync, Clint Music is a great resource. He has a great course. Invest in it. But before we move further, look at this line, and this is an important line and area, especially for producers that think that, nobody's going to catch me. I'm a little fish. Peep the wording here. Here in the Billboard article, quote, Sony pursued a reasonable, non-frivolous claim to vindicate infringement of its copyright work, Judge Pittman wrote. The judge, quote, some may query the wisdom of pursuing a claim against a relatively small fish like the artist Trey Fuego, but the fact does not render Sony's motivation improper or their lawsuit unreasonable. Do you peep that language? So in layman's terms, like Lonze just said, they're using software of all variation. There's sample snitches out there. There's whole departments trying to collect money because the music industry is always looking for where they can get their coin from. no matter how small of a producer you are, no matter how small of an artist, let me read the wording. Some may query the wisdom of pursuing a claim against a relatively small fish like Trey Fuego, but the fact does not render Sony's motivation improper or their lawsuit reasonable. Real quick before I go back to that. This case now set a precedent for the entire music industry. Anytime somebody wins a case and somebody has to pay up, then that case will be utilized in arguments for future cases. So that language now sets precedent in entertainment law when people are pursuing producers and or artists who basically sample work. So yes, we have stems. Great, we have stems. Praise the Lord, he's worthy.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Akai. We have stems. But now we got to be more what? Like, you know how they say when it comes to them drinking commercials, liquor commercials, drink responsibly? We got to stem responsibly. You got to stem responsibly right now. This is the stem responsibly area. Let me go real quick in this article because I want to show everybody this one thing right here. Sony's been chasing Trey Fuego in some form since January 2021. Let me go further. After filing the takedown request on August 2022 to get the song pulled, Sony finally launched its lawsuit in December. So that shows the label is not going to immediately, mind you, I can't say the label. We can't say Sony's every label in the world, but they made attempts to contact so you can do a cease and desist.
Mm-hmm.
But let me go down this article before we transition because I do want to talk about Lonze and what he got going on. Sony's lawsuit took a bizarre detour last year when Judge Pittman ruled that the label could forego traditional methods of contacting the artist and instead simply send them direct messages on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and SoundCloud. In doing so, the judge ruled that Sony had made, quote, extensive efforts and gone to great lengths to find Trey Fuego in real life, including several separate attempts to serve him and hiring a private investigator.
Wow.
Think about that for a second. Let's think about that. Mind you, this is now law, but look at the steps. Again, I've always been a type of person. If you're trying to get into a business, you got to study every in and out, every occurrences, so you can just really know how you can move in any business. You sell clothes, you got to know the certain things, so on and so forth. Did you see what they say? They took many different steps, and the judge gave permission to social media. Then the judge was aware of the private investigator. We have to use stems responsibly.
And you know what could have solved this whole fiasco? If he would have answered and contacted, got a lawyer, answered and contacted them and said, "Hey, I'm not ducking you. I know that you're trying to contact me. I'm not ducking you. Let's have a conversation and talk about how we can make this happen." Maybe I didn't know that it was a copyright infringement to take this song. So I'm, as a human being, as a person, as somebody who is not trying to do the wrong thing, he could have made a deal with that artist and split the proceeds, and then he could have been, they could have wrote and signed off the document to get it to continue using it. But he ducked them. So I say this: you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Word.
So
Use stems responsibly.
Yes, sir.
Last part of the article, and then we're going to move on. Last part. And I want everybody to listen to the wording of this. This is a Billboard article, mind you. This ain't a meme. This ain't somebody. This is a Billboard article. Go on Billboard.com, and I'll scroll up to the top after it. But look at this last portion, and it's why you need to be cautious on using MPC stems or any stems for that fashion when you release your music. Peep this section. Look at this. With those procedural issues settled, Judge Pittman ruled on the case in November and sided decisively with Sony. Look, though the judge noted that the case pitted, quote, one of the largest international entertainment conglomerates on the planet against a 20-year-old kid, the judge ruled that the David and Goliath posture would not protect this artist from liability. The judge says, to quote 90MH, which is the song, this case involves a young man who was, quote, too focused on getting dough to understand the broader implications, I'll highlight that. To quote 90MH, this case involves a young man who was too focused on getting dough to understand the broader implications of purchasing of creative work without proof of originality or license to use, the judge wrote in his November decision. To quote 9MH again, Trey Fuego likely imagined Sony wouldn't really, quote, want smoke enough to prosecute their claims as they did. Yo, when you got the judge talking crazy.
Right.
But again, now this is the new era. If you're like us older gentlemen of a certain age, we're used to sample flipping, selling a beat to an artist, go next, nobody's gonna catch us. This is 2024. Those days are over
Over
with
with.
AI recognition. Did you see what the judge says? He quoted the artist's lyrics. He said that, yes, it's a huge international record company, but that does not stop the smoke to the 20-year-old artist if they sampled a song and didn't give the artist they sampled from rights. We have to use MPC stems responsibly. And now before, I have not Lanze chime in on the last portion of this before we get to something else. For any naysayers or MPC elitists, I call them, you know what I'm saying? Or because I'm a fellow MPC user using it for like since like early 90s or whatever have you, who says, well, this doesn't affect me. If you release music and put it to Spotify streaming, if you sell the music, it affects you. If you're just a person who likes to make beats at home, cool. This does not affect you. But for anybody who's not taking this seriously and is really a focused producer trying to really create a business or creating a business or feed their family with their work forever to the point where they don't make beats anymore and earn money like passively from their production business, this affects you. In order to know how to play the Monopoly board game, you got to read the rules. In order to be in a music business environment, you got to know the game. How you gonna say I'm keeping it moving, I'm doing things keeping it moving, and you don't even know how to move you can't pass go if it don't match the rules of that go. I'm from New York, we like air horns. Sorry,
Yes,
not
sir.
sorry.
It's all
But go ahead,
good.
Lanze, last statement on this.
Yeah, last
issue.
statement on this thing is that you got a peep game that the judge is even using our lingo. So that means that the judge is up to date on what's happening in real time. This is not the 80s and you got an old, 70-year-old judge that's sitting on the bench and he don't know what's happening. This judge is down with what's happening and he know the rules and he decided to punish him at with the hammer and the greatest extent of the law that he could, because the problem with the whole thing, see, when I heard the story, I thought that this was just an up and coming producer that didn't know any better, right? But they've been chasing him since 2001, I think they said, so like 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, 2021.
2021, they've been chasing him for 3 years, and they reached out in every avenue that they could to say, hey, we can either make a deal or cease and desist. Don't stop making money with this product. But he got dang licensing deals, he got TV deals, he got freaking everything, got all the money and ran off on the plug. So I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I say good for him.
And good for us as producers.
Yeah.
Good for us as producers, because this is a kick in the tail to stop being like, I don't want, and again, not soapboxing. I'm gonna do this in 30 seconds and 30 seconds flat. You ready? Here it goes.
Right.
They sent lawyers to his mama's house. Like, to his mama's house. And big up moms for not snitching. I don't know who that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and especially for my Spanish folks, you know what I'm saying? I don't speak English. Like, you know what I'm saying? For my Spanish relatives, don't speak English. I know what you're talking about. Big up to mama for not snitching. But in 30 seconds, let's hear it go. You're either going to be a producer who's going to be, and it's great, be a hobbyist. Cool. But if you're trying to make money, or we're trying to make money, it's a good kick in our behind. I'm on YouTube. Behind. You know what I'm saying? It's a good kick in our behind. What are we going to do to flip up our business? Like I always tell myself, and I tell my kids, you can't expect different results by doing the same thing. Old keys don't open new doors. And as hip-hop producers, and again, hip-hop producers, hip-hop artists, and Lanze and I are old enough to know this, 80% of hip-hop producers and artists are not even up on their business and don't care. That era is over with AI. AI could probably, in about 5 years, AI is going to probably find out who like you with an app, or she like you. You know what I'm saying? That's how so advanced it is. And when it comes to production, they're finding out samples. And also, beware of using, listen, no shot. I love Splice. Beware of using Splice loops. Real talk.
And Splice does have an option in it to add that Splice stem or that slice piece of audio. You can add it to the licensing, and you can get and this is on the new update. You can get the licensing for that track or for that audio. You can have them write the contract out for you in Splice.
Oh, you know what? I didn't know that. Thank you for the gem.
That is brand new. They just did some updates to that, and that is brand new. Taking off the the back of track live, they kind of did kind of the same thing.
And they guess what? Guess what Spice did? They evolved. Do you see that? They took their business model and evolved it since TrackLib was a competitor. And before I get the lines, we're closing this topic off with this. Everybody be responsible when using stems. We all love stems. We like it. And again, for the MPC producers who have stems and who are focused on like, yo, I'm going to build, I'm going to start using my stuff. I'm going to start doing my thing. Do your thing. Please stop paying attention to the haters on the internet. Oh, stems isn't this. It's not standalone. Listen, you have two choices as producers. We either going to sit here and complain about what we don't got, or we're going to use what we have to get what we want. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let me move off that. So moving further, Lonzane had a great interview. Everybody go check it out. You know what I'm saying? Lonzane interview, and the mic was hating on him heavy, and it's happened to me. Like even in some audio and some interviews I've done, my mic was like super loud. It's a process. This is my Making Better Track show, but I wanted to highlight producers and especially producers that are business minded, that are utilizing content, utilizing their product to share their story to inspire other producers. That's literally my goal. But I want to give this opportunity, no echo included. Lonze, tell people a little bit about yourself, your current business model, and what your current goals are.
So as y'all know by now, my name is Beats by Lonze. That's my moniker. That's my producer name. You can find me on all social media platforms under Beats by Lonze. You can Google me. I'm out there. So yeah, I run a podcast. I run my own business. I run a DJ business as well as a producing business. Um, and what I do with my podcast is I interview a lot of my friends that I met that are in the industry and that are in other different industries that I feel that are the needles in the haystacks, that don't really promote themselves, that really don't let the world know what they are good at. And I think that at the point that at this time that I want to highlight those people that do great things in the world. So that is.
Before you do that, sorry, what's the
Go
name
ahead.
of the podcast and where can they find it? Sorry.
The name of the podcast is the Grind 329 Podcast by Lonze. And you can find it on every streaming podcast platform that's out there, and also on YouTube. You can also see the video broadcast on YouTube
And I'll put it in the comments, after the show goes up so everybody can find it. But go ahead, continue. Sorry.
at Beats by Lonze. You can find everything that you want to know about me at Beats by Lonze. And last but not least, I have my own website called beatsbylonze.com, where I sell all of my production for YouTube, production for TV and sync, as we talked about earlier, and just music for artists. I also have my own merch line, Beats by Lonze, Grind 329, all on the website. So you can find everything in one shop.
Now, I've been asking this, thank you for sharing that. I've been asking this for every producer I've been talking to, because I've been asking it of myself. What is my plan, target goals, so that by the time I hit January 1st, 2025, I will feel happy by what I accomplished? I'll share mines. I got to learn how to play piano and learn music theory, because this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous right now. As a producer, I feel I don't want to use scalar. I don't want to use any chord progression. I need to do it myself. I'm sick and tired of it. But what are your goals for 2025 as a producer? And that information may help other producers may think out the box within themselves.
My goal for the next year is to continue monetizing on my YouTube, and to continue bringing content out there for producers who are at all levels, which would be beginner, mediocre, in the middle, or expert. We all can learn how to do things differently than what we think the status quo is, and there's always other ways that you can do things. So I am really big on pushing YouTube content and showing them what I do in my studio. I try to be a little bit different. I try to be a little bit non-traditional than most people do.
Oh,
Light out there in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi tried to hate on you just now. It happened to me a second ago. The Wi-Fi tried to. Listen, everybody, this is live. This is live. He got his point across. This is live. We'll continue, Los. Go ahead. I'm sorry about that.
So yeah,
your face, but I heard you. It froze. But go ahead.
2025, I'm looking to improve on my business strategies, to make sure that I'm staying on top of my schedule and staying ahead of the curve and watching. Like, for instance, you told me the other day that that TikTok was under a ban. I was none the wiser that TikTok even was under the scrutiny of being banned.
No, no,
And
they're
so
not banned yet. Just for clarity,
they're not banned yet,
it
but
passed
yeah.
the House. It has to be introduced to the Senate, and the president said that if it passes the Senate, then he'll sign it as soon as on his desk. And the politicians of America are telling a Chinese company, sell it to us or we're going to ban it. Just for clarity, go ahead.
And I was none the wiser. And I thought, I'm always ahead of the game. I'm listening to what's happening in the world, and I kind of just didn't know that. So that gave me a wake up call that I need to stay on top of everything that's happening in the world and make sure that I'm with the times. So that's what I'm doing for the next year and the next year and a half. Staying on top of the times and working on pursuing sync and TV and licensing for my music.
Yeah, and I think that's admirable. Don't you hate when you got those words that you can really say normally, and then the camera comes on, you like,
And you can't say
like
it.
yeah. But I think it's admirable because we talked about this last show, and I talked about this with a bunch of other producers as well. We have so many beats that are on our hard drive, so many beats on our laptop that we may think is whack or not up to our personal par. But those tracks that we think are trash could be literally playing in the background music of any TV show, any movie, and things like that. And that's where sync license come about. And again, I don't work for Clint Music. Check out Clint Music on Instagram. He talks great information. Lamont Graves is another resource on Instagram. You can check out great information. You can go to taxi.com, look up information. There's so many sync licensing opportunities out there that align with sync agents, but that's another game you have to learn. Same thing like engineering, so on and so forth. And I applaud that, and I encourage myself and every other producer to really take those beats, put them in a library, and then do go through the process of syncing them so that our tracks can make money by themselves.
Yeah, shout out to those gentlemen. I follow Clint on social medias, and I get the emails when he send out the info. I've downloaded a couple of those. He sent a lot of those PDFs on how to get started, and I think I've been in a class before. Um, but yeah, good. That's a lot of motivation for me to know that there's another avenue of making music that I have not uh, delve into that avenue yet. So yeah, that's motivation for me to get started on that.
Yeah, in closing for this show, number one, everybody, I'm gonna have his information in the description as soon as this video up, so you can go support producers. For instance, my Making Better Track show. If you love my show, you can click the link in bio and support my show. Beatsbylonze.com. Go to his site, support producers. Again, one purchase of merch can help this man and his family the same way one investment in my description can help me to build our brand. And I think there needs to be more conversations with producers, by producers, because at the end of the day, we are all we have. Perfect example. You know how you know that's true? Look at what the songwriters are going through right now. Look at the fights that the songwriters are having just getting paid. You think that's not going to happen to producers? We all need to function as a supportive community that helps each other. That elitism out the window. That MPC bouginess out the window. Like, oh, my beat machine is bigger than yours. That's crazy. My mic's too low, somebody says. Maybe I need to get close. Sorry about that. Thank you, Skeptical Media, right there. My mic's too low. Dang, and I usually got a big mouth, too. But thank you so much for putting me on. But whatchamacallit, and big shout to Skeptical Media. But yeah, we got to take advantage and do what we have to do. But yeah, any closing words before we close the show?
Yeah, I say thank you again for bringing me back on the show to get a part two, because I was very hurt that that the echo bombed me on the last episode. But if you do watch that, which you should watch that video if you can make it through the echo. There's a lot of gems that we dropped on that video, and yeah, another thing I would like to say is that you should like, subscribe, and comment on these artists' social media, because that makes the algorithm see that people are watching and paying attention to your content that you're putting out there. So that helps us make money.
Oh, the
Grow.
Wi-Fi hating. Sorry, the Wi-Fi was hating. Go ahead.
It
The
helps
Wi-Fi.
us. It helps us grow and lets us know where we need to improve. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and share to everybody.
And I want everybody at the end of the show, check this out. Beats by Lonze's website's right here. You can shop now for merch. He's got discount codes, got tracks for sale. His podcast, Grind 329 podcast by Lonze, is right there. The episode's up. You can go there. It's at beatsbylonze.com. You see it right there. You got a free producer kit. Again, I will just put it up for people that don't know. How do you spell that? Beatsbylonze.com. Put the .com on that. And thank you so much for taking part of this show, brother. I really appreciate this. Thank you, everybody. And producers, use MPC Stems responsibly because they coming for their bread. If you sample and you don't get rice, they coming for their bread. Thank you, Skeptical Media, for telling me my mic was too low. I usually have a big mouth. I really appreciate you for saying that. Everybody support Beats by Lonze. Buy a piece of merch. Invest in independent producing artists. You love my content, hit me in my description. Support my channel. I would love to get some Starbucks after the show. Bless you with a donation to my channel. Everybody, use stems responsibly. Thank you, Lonze, for coming through. I'm going to talk to you after this. Everybody have a great day. Peace, and we're out.
Peace.
Yeah.